I know your clients are having amazing wins in session with you. And in today's episode, I want to help you take those wins, use those wins that they're sharing, and help you to make sure that selling feels less icky and less awkward by showcasing your clients and their results. Welcome back, coaches, to this week's episode of the Best Damn Coach podcast. I hope you're having the best day, and I'm so excited for you to dive into this week's content. We're talking about one of my favorite things that has made selling kind of easy for me today, and that is anchoring it in the amazing results that my clients are having. I recorded an episode about ways to make selling feel more effortless several months back. Definitely would encourage you to go listen to it. And I had some great feedback around this specific thing. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to dive in with more detail into this place about like the tangible ways that I actually collect testimonials, how I look for them, and all that good stuff. But more importantly, how it just can effortlessly be woven into your brand, into your coaching, and into the various places that you're connecting with ideal clients. Because when ideal clients see results that are happening for other people, what it does is unconsciously, it makes the results accessible to them. So it's just one of the most brilliant ways without really having to sell that shows what's possible. And so I want you to think of the last time a client sent you a message, right? And they sent you a message that made you just pump your brakes and stop. They told you something that shifted for them, something that clicked, something in their life or business that just hit different because of the work you did together, right? This is likely happening for you, but then you hear it, you love it. You're like, oh, that feels so good. You probably go and tell like your spouse, like, oh my gosh, a client left me this message. And then you just moved on. You didn't save it. You didn't share it. You definitely didn't use it to bring in your next client. And so today, my goal is to help you fix that because what I'm going to offer is, I think, just the most powerful sales tool that's probably sitting in your Voxer messages or in your inbox or in your DMs or in a text message. I don't know, wherever it is. And you're leaving, I think, money on the table and potential people to impact. So I'm Amanda, by the way, your host. And if today's your very first episode ever chiming into or listening into the show, I'm pumped. How'd you hear about me? I'd love to know more about you. Head on over my Instagram account at A Walk My Way and tell me about you. This is honestly one of my favorite things to do in my business. Yes, it's kind of weird. I'm lonely by myself doing this, but I'm literally staring into my DSLR camera as I record this. You can see me on YouTube as I'm recording. I'm thinking about you, building this content specifically for you. And today is one of those episodes I've been wanting to record after all of your questions from this previous episode. And we're talking all things testimonials. I've shared this before that I think the landscape of how we share results and testimonials of our clients has shifted because anybody can open up Canva right now. You could literally go search testimonials. You're going to get some of the most beautiful templates, and then you can put whatever the heck you want into those, whether they're really from clients or whether they aren't. And that's the thing, we don't really know. And so there are other ways that I think you should absolutely be leveraging what your people are saying in the most messy, imperfect, and repurposed way. I was kind of inspired as well because I was doing a coaching audit with one of my clients. She's a health coach. She's been in business about 2 years, and she's got these incredible results. People who are getting real, tangible, life-changing results. Talking 30 pounds down, off meds, totally different relationship with food. And when I asked her to show me where she was sharing these results, she kind of went quiet. She was verbally telling me them. And she's like, I think I have some like saved on my phone. And I was like, some saved in your phone? We've got to totally shift this. So I want you to hear this because I think this is likely happening for you too. You're probably sitting on gold. You probably have all these great results and even just a few results, even if you're like, I don't have all those results, Amanda, that's okay. You even have some. And because there is this skepticism that exists and people really want to know that the investment they're making in you is legit, then this is one of those powerful ways that we can remove the objections and increase the trust and authority that happens. So I'm going to break this really into two parts, if you will. And basically, first part, we're going to look at how to grab them. how to get the testimonials. And then the second thing is where we should be repurposing them. So the first thing we have to talk about is the collection. And the reason I'm sharing is because I think this is what most people get stuck in. They don't have a system of collection. They don't have a location, or they're waiting for clients to even just randomly send them something. They wait till the end of the program and they're like, will you get on and record this video? And can I ask you questions? And I want you to do that. I want you to still ask those questions at the end of the program. And we often have clients say like, can we leave a video testimonial or something at the end? And heck yes, we'll take that. But I also think that throughout the coaching container, they're probably saying things and giving you things that are so key in the process. And so let's talk about when to collect. Always is my answer. But specifically, there are 3 moments that I think are prime for testimonial collection. The first is just the quick wins that are nurtured throughout and often sprayed throughout, sprinkled throughout. This is early in your work together. It's like, I want you to be able to think of, I could say this like within 30 days, she started to have X within 30 days, because a lot of people are struggling with, okay, but how quickly am I going to get results? That's the objection they have. So if you can say within 2 weeks, this is what happened, within 30 days. So you could almost have kind of this 3 places where you save these. The quick wins file would be one. And it's the quick win moment. That's so powerful because it's real, it's raw, it's honest. And they're like just quickly building momentum. The second one is the midway point. I love doing this, especially in group coaching containers. Even if I'm delivering on a program that's 6 weeks, midway through, I want to know, how are things going? The other reason too is like there's a lot of momentum here, and this is usually somewhere in the middle. They've had like a major breakthrough. They've hit a wall, they've pushed through it, you've coached them through it, and they are grooving. Things are getting deeper, there's more trust. So the quick wins are maybe a bit more surface level, and this might feel a little bit more real, raw, and even a little bit deeper. And so then the third moment is the more structured ask that comes at the end. So this is where you could potentially send out a form or just some questions that they enter back in sentences. You could hop on a call and record. But this is the more structured sequence of where you're really wanting to paint the picture of where they were before, where they were during the coaching, and now where they are, so that you can share it more as a case study, example. You hear on the podcast almost monthly, I bring on a client to share more of a case study experience. I want you to hear what they've went through, where they were, because when you hear that, you're like, oh, if that's for her, that's for me, right? So everything that I'm teaching here, or everything that I'm offering today, I'm modeling for you in real time on the show, actually. And you can hear that in everything that we do. And you could weave this into even part of your offboarding process. And you could hop on that quick call or more formal. Or if you have a team, you could also delegate this to a team member if you feel like that feels more comfortable for you, or it's more neutral. Now we have a team member that does it for us, which is super cool because I love watching them all back. What I want to say on this note, because we're talking about, I'm checking my notes as I talk about this, is how to collect testimonials. Because something that comes up is just like this permission piece. So in my programs, I always make sure that as part of the agreements policy at the end, they know I am going to capture testimonials. And so that is already embedded. But as a polite courtesy, I often say, hey, do you mind if I share? Do you mind if I repurpose? Obviously, if they're coming on the show, they know they're coming for a case study. We've already talked about it. Or sometimes it's a screen grab or something like that. And I will completely eliminate the person's name, picture, all of that, just to keep it private in that moment. And so I am constantly grabbing these. And I also, in the BDC specifically, we have a form that's optional for the girls every Friday to complete that I review every Monday. So it's basically a metrics and data tracking and where they celebrate their wins. And I'm collecting that consistently. So I love to show those every Monday. You'll see in my stories, I'm showing all the amazing wins that my clients are having. If I want to go deeper than that and tell a specific story, then I always like to ask just for bonus permission. That is available as well. So something that's really cool that I've added thanks to one of my amazing clients, shout out to Bree, is at BDC Live, she shared this amazing thing that she'd been doing with AI, and she pulls in all of her her coaching session transcripts into a specific project. And then she uses this to do specific things, from follow-up to nurture to client language. And one of the things that I have now in my coaching session is I've trained it to find these quick wins. So I've trained it to pull out any testimonials and any quick wins so that I'm also not missing them on a coaching session. And then I have that to go back to pull from, to share from, to talk about, and of course, getting permission for the recording inside of the coaching session as well. So for all of these things, the idea being here is that there's lots of ways to collect testimonials to actually get them from someone. You can do it more formally, or you're screen grabbing things from Voxer, from text messages, from DMs. And then, of course, filing somewhere that helps you stay organized. We do that inside of Monday.com. So I just want to say that formal is great because it is a more precise picture. But what I really want for you are those unsolicited things that just show evidence of when like someone just has this biggest win, they just reach out. And you'll even see me sometimes, like if somebody sends me a DM, a client, I can't transcribe in Instagram to show you, but I will just screenshot the message that was sent and talk about what she said in that message. And so I think that's really, really valuable as well. So now that you have them, right? First step, before you do anything with them, you have to have them. So it's just creating the habit and the consistency of looking for them and not letting it slip and being brave enough to say, wow, this really matters, like, and ask for it, capture it, put it into a system. But once you have them, here's where the real fun is you can start to do so many cool things with them and start to leverage them to move more people into your programs, because then it becomes really awesome social proof. So I'm just going to name a few places that you can put them starting right now. No matter where you are, there's an option here that works for you 100%. So the first place, and probably one of the more obvious places, is your website. Anytime you have a work with me page or a service page, like a sales page for a service, I would 100% embed testimonials throughout it. And not just like the fancy ones, but the screen captures, the Voxer messages, and not as an afterthought, like woven through it. Think about the objections someone has, like, oh, another program, or why would I need this? And they start to see this layered in proof that what they're already shopping for is effective for other people. And again, it sends this unconscious, like, oh yeah, I need that. Right? You're really answering their doubts and their objections in real time with a real human being's words. And that's really, like, again, that does the heavy lifting for you. You could even put them on your homepage if you have one, that maybe a strong one somewhere that really captures the essence of what you do and the real human being's language. Like, there's places that you can, strategically place these. So website, sales page, offers, 100% think those should be sprinkled in throughout. And a lot of you are missing them. When I see and review sales pages in the BDC, I'm often like, where's the proof? Show me it works. Show me the good stuff. The next, probably more obvious place, is social media. I love if you would create content using the specific testimonial, and the more you can show me as a case study where they were, where they were before they met you, what happened in the coaching, and where they are now. So this 3-part equation, the before, the during, and the after. So it paints the full picture, because when we hear somebody's story about where they were before they met you, then again, that's going to, in somebody's brain, be like, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm right there. Right? If she can do it, I can do it. So you can then put these into reels, literally screenshot them, put them on top of the creative that you're using. You can put them in the highlights of your proof in LinkedIn. You could screen grab again and pull that in. Those are all really important places that I think social media is leveraged. Again, yes, you can have formal reviews there. I really love the messy, emotional, real version of what they're saying to you in real time, because I do think it converts and it's most effective. Where else do we utilize these? Well, in our email list all the time. Every time you're doing a launch or a promotion or something of some sort, you just hosted a workshop and you've opened some spots for coaching, 100% at least one of those emails should be a more case study in full, like tell me the whole story, and then add in a screenshot of what they shared with you. But if you can also fill other emails, or at least another email with a few stories, but then also weave this into consistently part of what you're telling your email list and inviting them to see and tell the client's story. So again, they see themselves inside the story. And one story told well in an email, I think, can do more heavy lifting than 5 emails of just pure selling. But again, it's nailing this kind of case study approach. The other place is inside of your content here on podcasts, on your own podcast if you have it. at the time of this recording, I was just a guest on another show, and I'm always very intentional about telling stories about clients, the before, the during, the after. So when they ask me for an example or they say, can you tell me more? I'm like, well, yeah, I'd love to tell you, but I'm actually going to tell you about a client first. So I tell the story because it immediately adds authority to what I'm saying. It shows to the people that are listening, like, she is who she says she is. She clearly works with clients, and it builds that credibility and authority that all these testimonials, but then it makes it really easy for me to sell when I'm letting the client's story do the work for me. And this is often why selling in my Instagram stories is also so easy. Is I will share and highlight, and then basically say, hey, if you want these results too, reply with results, and I'll share more about how I supported these clients, or go check out this program here. If this feels like a heck yes for you, then, definitely go listen, or whatever the case is. So that's why for me, it's like the results literally speak for themselves. So it makes it such a strong and simple transition into selling the services, because they've already seen multiple examples, or at least one example of a human being that's had those results that you were the guide to. So if you could even set a goal of like, can I do that at least once a week in my stories, or at least, Monday through Friday in my stories, to constantly be sharing that, then it again, reps, we get more reps. We talk about our clients. It feels good. It feels so freaking good to talk about my clients. Like, they're so awesome. They're the winners out there. I'm just kind of guiding them along. So if I get to highlight them, then it's just a win for everyone. One more thing I think that's also, I guess, underused is your DMs and your conversations. When someone reaches out and says, I've been thinking about working with you, you can always say, oh my God, that's so amazing. Tell me more about you. Find out a little bit. And then you can actually share anecdotal case studies. Oh, yeah, I had a client just like you, and this is what happened, and this is where she is now. So you're giving them the context to make, a really easy decision to take that next piece. So really, part 3 of this conversation is just the selling framework, right? It's let the story lead, share the testimonial, talk about the person. The bridge is kind of like this transition, is where you say, hey, if you see yourself in her story, if this resonates with you, if this was where you are right now, like, there's a reason for that. You're basically drawing a line and saying, that's the old you, come into this new version. And then the invite is the call to action. And I want you to really think about this. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to feel salesy. It can be, hey, if this speaks to you and you want to learn more, let me know. If I always like to say, one of my things I say often is, if this feels like a heck yes to you, let's chat, or let's learn more. I say it in ways that aren't like, get on the call right now, book a call to learn more. Like, that's so generic and cheesy. And it doesn't really ring true of the psychology of the buyer specifically. And so I think that this is such an easy framework. Again, it's tell the story of the client, bridge why it resonated, and 3, invite them in to take a next step with you. And so this is really, I guess I would say, this podcast is really 3 parts, because I just want to really hone in on that selling piece. Is when you are collecting and grabbing the testimonials and you're storing them, you can repurpose them. And then, of course, the 3rd piece would be leveraging them to sell them into your services piece. I also just want to say, one of the greatest challenges I have when we're talking about selling in general is, none of us really signed up to this thinking that we were going to be salespeople. We signed up for coaching because we want to change lives. We know we can get results. We're great at what we do. We have a passion and heart for it. And then all of a sudden, like, crap, I have to sell? Like, ugh. So some coaches will never step into that. And that means they're really honestly not going to get clients out of that. And so that feeling salesy, awkward thing is, yeah, it's like totally normal. And it's part of, we talked about outcome resistance. I want something, but this thing is new and it feels awkward. But you've done this before. You've done new things that felt weird and awkward before. And the more reps you get, the easier it's going to become. And so I think that part of this is like celebrating you and your client, for me, makes it so easy. I want to be clear, there's no exploitation here. You're just simply asking permission. You're honoring them. And I've actually never had a client tell me, no, please. They're usually really pumped. And if it's a super emotional, raw situation, obviously I use the discernment to not share. But there are things that most of my clients honestly are just so pumped to share. So if they can help somebody else, that's what they say. Hey, share. If it's going to help somebody else, then I am all for it. I don't think hiding their wins serves them, and it definitely doesn't serve you. And it's for sure not serving the next person who needs you at all. So, as a recap, you are having big wins. It's time to use them. Step one is hunt those wins, collect them. We talked about the 3 times, the quick wins, the mid, and the midpoint, and then the formal finishing way to collect them. Number 2, place them everywhere. We talked about ideas for that to happen. And number 3, use them to tell the story to sell. So story, then bridge them into an invite into your process, into your coaching services. I think in a world, this is my just finishing thought, in a world where people are skeptical, where trust is hard to earn, the fastest path to getting a potential client to say yes is for them to hear from someone who's already done it. You don't have to convince anyone that you're good then. Like, just let your clients do that for you. And so I hope today was supportive for you. And if it hit home, I'd love for you to copy this link, share it with another coach. More so, I just want you to go I gave you real tangible ways to go out and just implement the heck out of this episode. Let me know which ones spoke to you. I'd love for you to head on over to my stories or to my DMs on Instagram at A Walk My Way, or even on LinkedIn, and just tell me more about how this episode landed. And until next week, go coach them up.